Hello students, name clause we have completed, registered office clause we have already completed in previous video lecture. Now new topic is object clause. By mistake I have repeated name clause in the previous video lecture. We have already done name clause and registered office clause. Today we are going to start object clause. Now what is object clause and which type of points are required to be mentioned in object clause? It is mandatory for every company to mention, to state in its memorandum of association the objective for which the company is proposed to be incorporated. Why company is established? What is the purpose of establishment of company? Producing this and this goods in order to earn income. Such type of objectives they are required to mention in the memorandum of association. Object clause carries the greatest importance in the entire memorandum of company. The promoters of the, because for example, if your objective is to promote sports, in that case some rules are changes regarding public company. For example, if your objective is to promote sports, then you are not required to use the word private limited or limited at the end of the name of the company. That's why we need to mention for what purpose we are establishing the company: for producing goods, for promoting sports, for promoting other activities. So we have to mention the objective in the memorandum of association, and it is a greatest importance. It has the greatest importance in the entire memorandum of company. The promoters of the company, promoters once again the person who established the company, the promoters of the company are at liberty, means they are free to have a choice of objects of the company. However, the following are the restrictions upon the promoters to select the object of the company. Now what are the restrictions? Object must not be against any law. First point regarding restrictions: object must not against any law or provision. So object must not be against any law or provision of the Companies Act. Companies Act. And second one is object of the company must not against any public policy or the provision of the Constitution of India. Same point almost, object must not against any public policy or the provisions of Constitution of India. Means why we are establishing company, what is the purpose behind establishment of company, we have to mention those or that purpose in the memorandum of association. But at the time of mentioning the purpose, we have to take care about these points. These are the restrictions regarding object clause, that whatever purpose promoter is establishing company, such purpose, such objects should not be against any law or provision of the Companies Act, or should not be against any public policy or provision of the Constitution of India. Or in one line we can say that object must not be against any law or provision of Companies Act or public policy or provision of Constitution of India. This is about. Third one is the object should not be contrary to the provision of any general law. So almost all the 3 points have same meaning. Now next one is doctrine of ultra vires. Now what is doctrine of ultra vires? We will do later on. First of all, liability clause. Third point, object clause is completed. Now fourth point is liability clause. Now what is liability clause? On the basis of kind of liability of the companies, the companies can be classified into 3 classes: company limited by share we have already done, company limited by guarantee, and unlimited liability company. So there is nothing to explain in this point. We have done number of times in forms of organization in previous chapters. What is company limited by shares? The memorandum of company limited by shares must state in its liability clause that the liability of its members is limited. Means if company is limited by share, then they have to mention in their memorandum of association that liability of, we all know that what is the liability in case of company limited by share. Liability is the amount of share purchased by each member, only up to that amount they need to pay. For example, again I am giving the same example which I have already given. Suppose I had purchased 500 shares and the value of share is 10 rupees. It means 500 into 10 means I have to pay total 5,000 rupees. Means my liability means liability of member is only up to the amount of shares purchased by them. So company is required to mention in the memorandum of association that the liability of each member is limited. In the company limited by shares, members cannot be called on to pay more than the nominal value of their share. Means I am not required to pay more than 5,000 rupees. According to my example, member is not required to pay more than the face value of shares. Next, if the liability of member of the company is limited by guarantee, then their liability will be up to the extent of the guarantee offered by them. We all know what is company limited by guarantee. What is the meaning of company limited by guarantee? In case of company limited by guarantee, member has to pay only that amount which he has promised to pay. For example, in case of company limited by guarantee, I had given promise to the company to pay 20,000 rupees. Means my liability is only up to the payment of 20,000 rupees. I am not required to pay more than 20,000 rupees. That's why in case of company limited by guarantee, they have to mention that liability of each and every member is only up to the extent of guarantee offered by them. Now next, in case of one person company, the name of the person who is in the event of death of the subscriber shall be nominated. The member of the company must be stated in the liability clause. Or in case of one person company, the person has to mention the name of the nominee in the memorandum of association. So these are the three. And here also the liability clause is to be mentioned. Means in case of one person company, liability of one person is unlimited. So that is to be mentioned in the memorandum of association. So three types of companies are there: company limited by share, company limited by guarantee, and unlimited liability company, means one person company. So all these companies are required to mention the liability status in the memorandum of association. Now next topic is capital clause. Capital clause. Now once again, capital clause is compulsory only in the case of limited company. The company limited by share must state in its capital clause the amount of capital, the number of shares into which it is divided, and the amount of each share. They have to mention in the memorandum of association if the company is limited by share. Once again, if the company is limited by share, so what is the total amount for which they are going to issue shares? Total amount means total share capital they need to mention. First of all, if company is limited by shares, they need to mention total capital amount they need to mention. Then number of shares, the face value of shares, they are required to mention. Once again, capital clause. The capital clause is compulsory only in the case of limited company. The company limited by share must state in its capital clause the amount of capital for which they are going to issue shares, the number of shares into which the total capital amount is divided. For example, total capital amount is 20 lakh. It means they have to mention this 20 lakh in the memorandum of association in capital clause. Now, total number of how much shares they are going to issue for arranging 20 lakh rupees. Suppose the face value share is 10, so 20 lakh divided by 10, it means 2 lakh. So they need to mention 2 lakh shares, they need to mention 20 lakh rupees total amount, and they need to mention face value of share in the memorandum of association if the company is limited by shares. Next, in the case of company limited by guarantee, then they need to mention the amount up to which each member undertakes to contribute at the time of winding up should be specified. Means in case of company limited by guarantee, they need to mention the limited amount, means guaranteed amount paid by each member. They have to mention the guaranteed amount paid by each member. And if the company limited by guarantee also has a share capital, the capital clause of such company has two capital clause, one relating to guaranteed amount or other related to share capital. Sometimes company limited by guarantee can also issue shares. In that case, they have to mention 2 points in the capital clause. One is related with guaranteed amount. If they are arranging money by guarantee process, then they have to mention the guaranteed amount. And if they are issuing shares, then they need to mention the same thing, total amount which they are arranging from shares, number of shares, face value of shares. Or in case of one person company, the name of the person who in the event of death of the subscriber shall become the member of the company must be written. Means in simple language, in case of one person company, the name of the nominee who will become the future owner of the company after the death of the present owner, the name of the nominee must be mentioned in the capital clause. Now next one is subscription clause, last point. What is subscription clause? In a subscription clause, all the individuals who occupy the higher position, they have to put their signature in the memorandum of association in a subscription clause. And they are putting signature, it means they are declaring that we are ready to accept, or I am ready to accept this and this. For example, if chartered accountant is appointed, then he has to put his signature in the memorandum of association. By putting his signature, he is declaring that I am ready to occupy this and this position in this and this company full time. I am full time chartered accountant. I am ready to accept the remuneration offered by the company. Such type of declaration he has to submit to the company in the form of subscription clause in memorandum of association. So all individuals who occupy higher position, they have to give a declaration along with their signature. That is called subscription clause. The last clause, this clause can be termed as incorporation clause. Subscription clause is also known as incorporation clause, association clause, or signature clause. Subscription clause is also known as incorporation clause, association clause, or signature clause. So these are the different names of subscription clause: incorporation clause, association clause, or signature clause. Now what is required to mention in this type of clause? A company may be formed for any lawful purpose by signature of minimum 7 or more persons, where the company to be formed as a public company. In case of public company, we all know what is the minimum number of members in public company? 7. So at least 7 members has to put their signature in subscription clause in the memorandum of association. Minimum 7. Or 7, more than 7 can also put their signature, but minimum 7 members, signature of 7 members are required in subscription clause, that they are ready to accept all the rules and regulation of the central government, SEBI and other agencies which can regulate the company. Those who are regulating the company, those who are controlling the company, they are ready to accept the rules and regulation, terms and condition of all those provisions which are introduced by different agencies. So company, in case of public company, minimum 7 members signatures is required. Signature of minimum 2 or more persons are required. In case of private company or in case of single person company, only signature of one person who is the owner of that company is required. So signatures are required in subscription clause, and by putting signature it means they are accepting all the terms and condition introduced by different agencies, either by central government or by provision of Companies Act 2013 or by SEBI or by RBI. So they are ready to accept all the terms and condition in order to run their company. So in case of public company, 7 or more signatures are required. In case of private company, 2 or more, or in case of single person, the signature of one person is required. Next para, the members of the company put their signature. The members of the company, minimum 7 or more, minimum 2 or more, minimum 1 person. In case of public company, private company and single person company respectively. The members of the company put their signature and gives an undertaking to the effect, means what is the meaning of putting signature? That they are promising, taking an undertaking to the effect of that they are interested in promoting the incorporation of company, means the purpose for which company is established, they are ready to fulfill all the terms and condition in order to fulfill those purpose. In order to achieve those purpose, they are ready to accept all the terms and condition. This is called undertaking. And are willing to purchase the shares mentioned against their names. The name, address and details about their work. The person who has put their signature in subscription clause, they have to mention all details, their name, their occupation, their position in the company, any other work they are doing. So each and every detail is required to be mentioned by the person who is putting signature in subscription clause in memorandum of association. The name, address and details about their work has to be provided and attested by a witness. Such members are also called signatories. So this is the end of all clauses. Now one topic is left, that is doctrine of ultra vires. Once again, name clause we have done, registered office clause we have already done. So by mistake I have repeated name clause today. Then third, object clause. Object means in this clause, in this part of document, company has to mention the purpose for which they are establishing the company, whether they are establishing for producing goods or providing services or for any other activities. For example, any other activity may be for charity purpose they are establishing company, or for promoting religion, a particular religion they are establishing company, or for promoting sports they are establishing company. They have to mention the purpose, but the purpose means object should not be such which is against any law, against any provision of Companies Act 2013 or any other formal act, or against any provision of Constitution of India. Next topic is liability clause. Means in liability clause, company has to mention the liability, status of liability, nature of liability, whether it is limited liability or unlimited liability, depends on. Means on this basis, three types of companies are there: company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee, and unlimited company, means single person company. So company limited by share has to mention the liability, that the liability of each and every member is limited. We all know that in case of company limited by shares, the liability of each member who are purchasing share is limited only up to the amount of shares purchased by them. I had already given one example, that if I had purchased 500 shares and face value of share is 10, so I have to pay total 5,000 rupees, not more than that. So company has to mention that in our company, the liability of each and every member is limited up to the amount of shares purchased by them. In the same way, in case of company limited by guarantee, they have to mention in liability clause that the guaranteed amount, the liability of each and every member is only up to the amount guaranteed by them. Similarly, in case of one person company, they have to mention that liability of one person, means owner, is unlimited, and in that liability clause it is compulsory. In case of one person, I am telling you, in case of one person, it is compulsory to mention the name of the nominee who will become the owner of the company after the death of the present owner. Next one is capital clause. Here in capital clause, company has to mention the total amount for which they are going to issue shares, then number of shares in which total amount is divided, and the face value of each share is required to mention in the capital clause. Next, subscription clause. This is also known as signatories clause, signature clause, association clause, incorporation clause. Here all members, now minimum 7 members, signature of 7 members are required in case of public company, because we have already studied that minimum 7 members are there in case of public company and maximum no restrictions. In case of private company, minimum 2 members are required and maximum 200. So signature, in case of single person company, there is only one owner. So minimum 7 members or more can put their signature in subscription clause of memorandum of association, and putting signature means they are ready to accept all the terms and conditions introduced by provision of Companies Act 2013, central government, RBI, SEBI and any other agency regarding to perform affairs of the company, activities of the company. Means they are ready to execute all the activities of the company according to the rules and regulation of different agencies. This is the meaning of signature, putting in the subscription clause. So these clauses are completed. Now one topic is left. Doctrine of ultra vires. What is the meaning of doctrine of ultra vires? I have already told you that in a memorandum of association, the working area of each and every individual is defined, is clarified. Memorandum of association clarifies the working area of each and every individual, each and every employee. Memorandum of association also clarifies authorities, means power, and responsibilities. For example, what are the duties, authorities, responsibilities, duties, functions of each and every individual occupying higher position. In memorandum of association, it clarifies the authorities or power and responsibilities, duties, functions performed by individuals occupying higher position. So clarifies authorities, powers and responsibilities of each and every individual. So here 2 points are there. Once again, memorandum of association clarifies the working area of each and every employees. Memorandum of association clarifies authorities, powers and responsibilities, duties, functions of each and every individual. If any person goes beyond that working area, or if any person misuse their authorities, or they are exercising such authorities which are not given to them, in that case the act done by them, performed by them, is considered ultra vires. This is called doctrine, means principle of ultra vires. What is the principle of ultra vires? If any person goes beyond the working area, if any person exercise such authorities or fulfilling such responsibilities which are not given to them, in that case their act, their performance will be considered ultra vires, means it will be considered illegal. So according to textbook, a company can pursue only those objects which are clearly mentioned in the memorandum of association. Means company can do only those activities which is mentioned in the memorandum of association. For example, if company is established for producing this and this particular goods, and along with that they are promoting sports also, then it means they are going beyond the working area of their company, they are going against the objective clause, object clause. That's why their act will be considered ultra virus, because they had clearly mentioned that our objective is to produce this and this particular goods. Means we are coming under the category of commercial companies. We are not establishing our company for promoting sports or any other religion or any other activities. We had established only to produce this and this goods. And then also, if they are, along with producing goods, if they are promoting any sports or any other religion or any social welfare, in that case they are going beyond the working area of the company, so their act will be considered illegal, invalid, means ultra virus. So whenever any person or company also goes beyond the working area of the company or employees, then such act will be considered ultra virus. So a company possesses only those powers which are either explicitly and implicitly conferred upon it by virtue of its memorandum of association. Means company or any person can execute, can exercise only those powers, those responsibilities which are given to them by the top level management in the company or by the central government or Provision of Companies Act 2013. According to that, they need to perform their work. Any activity in excess to what is stated in the object clause will be void and same will be declared ultra virus. Means if any activity goes beyond this working area, goes beyond the authority and power and responsibility which are given to them, then such activity will be considered as void. Void means cancelled, means null, means illegal. So if any individual or sometimes company also, because company is also an artificial person. So if company goes beyond the working area or if any employees goes beyond the working area, or if any person or any officer of the company misuse their powers or using such powers which are not assigned to them, then the activities performed by those individuals or company may be considered void, means null, or illegal, means ultra virus. In that case, if any loss incurred to anybody else, then such officer, concerned officer or sometimes company has to compensate the loss. So any activity in excess to what is stated in the object clause, because in object clause everything is mentioned. What is the power, what is the responsibility, what is the duty of company secretary, chartered accountant, managing director, everything is mentioned. So if any person goes beyond that area, then same will be declared ultra virus, means beyond powers. If the act is ultra virus, once the act is declared ultra virus, then it does not create any legal relationship, means clearly it is that act will be considered as illegal act. Such an act is absolutely void, means cancelled. Even the whole body of shareholders ratify it and make it binding upon the company. Following are the consequences, result of ultra virus act. So what is, once any activity is considered ultra virus, then what is the effect? First, directors of the company are held personally liable for ultra virus acts. Means directors are taking the final decision. That's why if any person goes beyond the working area of the company, then directors are held responsible, means they are liable to compensate the loss. Second, court can prevent a company from doing such acts. Court may interfere if we are going beyond the working area. In that case, court may interfere and control your activities. Third, if any company has entered into any contract, means they are entering in such a contract which is not mentioned in, which is not the objective of the company, which is not the purpose of the company, in that case such contract will be considered illegal, void. So these are the effects of ultra virus. Fourth point, for any ultra virus act by an employee acting on behalf of company, the company can be held liable. If any person goes beyond the working area, in that case also company will be considered liable to compensate the loss. Company has to compensate the loss. Fifth point, the directors of companies are responsible to the third party for ultra virus acts. Third party means outsiders. If any loss incurred to outsiders, why? Because they are going beyond the working area. they are performing such activities which are not coming under their working area, means they are going beyond the working area, they are misusing authorities or they are using such authorities which are not assigned to them. In that case, directors of the company are responsible to the third party, means they are required to compensate the loss which occurs to third party. So these are the effects. In order to avoid above situation, means in order to avoid ultra virus situation, company includes most area of functions with the term any other object in the object clause. If any other object means if along means beside working area, if they want to perform some other activities, so they must mention those other activities, that it may be possible that after 2 or 3 years we are going to promote sports, going to promote football or cricket, under the any other object. Any, they have to mention under the heading of any other object in object clause, that we are going to promote sports or we are going to promote particular religion. Beside our main work, they have to mention in under the heading of any other object. Then if they are performing such activities, it will be considered legal. But if it is not mentioned in memorandum of association and they are performing such activities which are not mentioned in memorandum of association, in that case such activities is considered void, illegal or ultra virus. In that case, company or responsible officers are required to compensate to the third party. In this way, chapter is completed. Page number 99, changes in memorandum of association, right now deleted from the course. And one more topic, page number 97, importance of memorandum of association is also deleted from the course. In this way, 4th chapter is completed. Now any doubt you can ask.